May 2020, friends and family gathered to celebrate what should have been one of the happiest moments in Darionne Burley's life. The 26-year-old mother-to-be was beaming with excitement as blue confetti filled the air, revealing she was expecting twin boys. Her Facebook post captured her pure joy. "I get to see the twins and find out the gender today. I'm so excited to see them." Just weeks later, on June 29, 2020, Darionne and her unborn twins' lives were cut short in a brutal act of violence. The same man who stood beside her at the gender reveal party, Maurice Smith, the father of her unborn children, would become her murderer. That morning, they shared breakfast at a Waffle House in Fort Worth, Texas. Hours later, police would discover Darionne's body in the passenger seat of an abandoned car, with a heartbreaking detail that would shake even the most experienced investigators. Tucked between her body and the console was her wallet, containing a sonogram picture of her unborn twin boys. These twin boys already had names, Maurice Smith Jr. and Marion Kyson Smith, and were due on October 17, 2020. Just weeks before her death, Darionne shared her dreams of motherhood. "Having two boys on the way, I look at my entire life differently. All the drama MF try to put me in is so beneath me. I see who said what or who did what. I'm so focused on being a better me for my two that I can't even entertain the distractions. My babies need they mama, so leave me out y'all drama." What transforms a moment of pure celebration into an act of unspeakable violence? How does someone watch the mother of their unborn children plan for their future, choose their names, and then make the conscious decision to end their lives? The answer lies in a pattern of events that began long before that fatal June morning, a pattern that might be familiar to many watching this video right now. The evidence that would seal Maurice Smith's fate began accumulating just 24 hours before Darionne's death. On June 28, 2020, three people walked into a firearm shop at Will Rogers Auditorium: Maurice, his friend, and Darionne herself. When payment issues arose, it was Darionne who provided $250 to purchase the weapon. She had no way of knowing that this same firearm would be used against her the very next day. This single transaction set off a chain of events that would end at an auto shop over a dispute about a tire repair. The weapon, a .40 caliber pistol, would later be found along with blood-stained clothing as Smith attempted to clean a stolen vehicle at his residence. But perhaps the most compelling piece of evidence lay quietly in Darionne's wallet. That sonogram picture, a final testament to the lives lost that day. Every minute, somewhere in our country, another story like Darionne's unfolds. Perhaps someone watching right now recognizes familiar patterns in their own life or in someone they know. This story could save a life, but only if you help share it. If you want to understand the warning signs that could have prevented this tragedy, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll expose every critical detail that led to that fatal morning. Leave a comment below, sharing what you think might drive someone to commit such an act against the mother of their unborn children. Your insight could help others identify dangerous behaviors before it's too late. And if you believe this story needs to be heard, hit that like button and share this video. Because somewhere, someone might be living through similar circumstances, and your share could be their wake-up call. On July 14, 1993, in Fort Worth, Texas, Darionne Burley was welcomed into a close-knit family as the fourth of 6 children. Born to Olga King Burley and Darryl Burley, she grew up surrounded by the love of a large extended family, including her grandmother Mary King, along with numerous aunts, uncles, and cousins. Her family was more than just relatives. They were her foundation. As one of 6 siblings, Edric King, Allison and Bambi, married to Dale and Bambi, Sydney Burley, Chanlin Burley, and Leland Burley, Darionne learned early on about the importance of family bonds and supporting one another. Growing up in Fort Worth shaped her into someone who valued community and connection. The Burley household was characterized by strong family values and unwavering support for one another. This environment fostered Darionne's caring nature and her deep sense of responsibility toward family, traits that would later influence her excitement about becoming a mother herself. Her upbringing in this tight-knit family unit played a crucial role in shaping her dreams and aspirations for her own future family. Darionne's pursuit of higher education led her to Connors State College in Muskogee, Oklahoma, where she earned her associate's degree. Her academic journey reflected her determination to build a stable and successful future for herself. Rather than just a stepping stone, her education represented her commitment to personal growth and achievement. This drive for self-improvement remained constant throughout her life, as evidenced by her social media posts during her pregnancy. On May 9, 2020, she shared a touching reflection about becoming a mother. "I'm a mother now. Like it's Mother's Day, and I just never thought I could be a mom. I ain't think I could carry, but God gave me two. I'm so blessed and thankful. Happy Mother's Day, man." Her educational achievements at Connors State College weren't just about earning a degree. They demonstrated her ability to set goals and achieve them, a quality she hoped to pass on to her children. She saw education as a pathway to providing better opportunities, not just for herself, but for her future family. Among her 5 siblings, Darionne found unique ways to connect with each one. Her relationship with her sister Allison Bombi was particularly special, as they shared dreams and supported each other's life journeys. With her brothers Edric King and Leland Burley, she maintained strong bonds that brought both protection and companionship. Her connections with Sydney and Chanlin Burley added different dimensions to her life, each relationship contributing to who she was. Her siblings knew a side of Darionne that few others saw: her infectious laugh, her determination to overcome challenges, and her unwavering loyalty to family.
Hey, Pooh. Thanks, Pink. Can you stop smacking in my ear? Y'all, look at this ponytail. It is breaking down on me. Okay, let me put this last on. Sydney, you got no tweezers? There. Look at this right here. Can you just put this on the end of the last?
Will you look all natural and stuff, glowing?
Am I?
Girl, yes.
Girl, look fat as hell. Ah!
Baby, you pregnant.
They witnessed her transformation from their spirited sister to an expectant mother, sharing in her joy when she learned she was carrying twins. Her pregnancy brought new depth to these sibling relationships, as her brothers and sisters eagerly anticipated becoming aunts and uncles. Darionne and Maurice Smith's connection stretched back to their high school days, evolving into an on-and-off relationship that would span years. At 32, Maurice was 6 years older than Darionne, and their history together was marked by periods of reconciliation and separation. Their relationship dynamic was complex from the start. Those who knew them saw moments of apparent happiness interspersed with troubling episodes. Smith's presence in Darionne's life was persistent, even during their breaks, maintaining a connection that would ultimately be dangerous. Friends noticed that despite the ups and downs, Smith maintained a certain influence over Darionne. This influence would later become evident in crucial moments, such as when she contributed $250 to help purchase the firearm at Will Rogers Auditorium, a decision that tragically tied their fates together. The relationship between Darionne and Maurice showed concerning patterns long before the pregnancy. Smith's behavior exhibited classic signs of control and abuse, including accusations of infidelity and instances of physical violence. His actions became more erratic over time, particularly as his drug use intensified. By early June 2020, those close to Darionne noticed alarming changes in Smith's behavior. His drug use had escalated significantly, and with it came increased volatility. The man who had once been part of Darionne's high school memories was transforming into someone increasingly unpredictable and dangerous. Despite these red flags, like many in similar situations, Darionne remained hopeful about their future together, especially with the twins on the way. The promise of family life and Smith's role as the father of her children created a complex web of emotions and obligations that made it difficult to see the danger ahead. While the pregnancy brought moments of joy, it also marked a crucial turning point in Maurice Smith's behavior. Between the announcement and the gender reveal celebration, subtle changes began to emerge. Friends who attended their gatherings noted the stark contrast between Smith's public persona and his private behavior. During their pregnancy photo shoots and celebratory events, Smith would present himself as the excited father-to-be. But away from the cameras and social gatherings, a different reality was unfolding. His control over Darionne intensified under the guise of protection and concern for their unborn children. The period between learning about the twins and their gender reveal party became a time of increasing isolation for Darionne. Even as she shared her excitement about the twins on social media and with family, she was navigating an increasingly complex situation at home. The same man who smiled for photos at their celebrations was becoming more possessive and volatile behind closed doors. The duality of their situation reflected a common pattern in troubled relationships: public displays of unity masking private turmoil. While Darionne focused on preparing for motherhood, Smith's grip on their relationship tightened, setting the stage for the tragic events that would follow. Dr. Laura Stampley, a forensic psychologist who specializes in domestic violence cases, points to key behavioral patterns that emerge during Darionne's pregnancy. Pregnancy often represents a critical escalation period in abusive relationships. The abuser may feel threatened by the impending changes and loss of control, leading to increased aggressive behavior. Looking at Smith's actions, Dr. Stampley identifies concerning escalation patterns. What we see here is textbook escalation: increased drug use, attempts to obtain a firearm, and growing possessiveness. The combination of substance abuse and domestic violence creates a particularly volatile situation. The abuser's need for control often intensifies as the pregnancy progresses, viewing the upcoming birth as a threat to their dominance in the relationship. Most critically, Dr. Stampley notes, the period just before and after major life events, like a gender reveal or approaching due date, can trigger heightened aggression in abusive partners. The public celebration of these events may fuel private resentment and controlling behaviors, creating a dangerous disconnect between public perception and private reality. Take a moment now to reflect on what you've learned from Darionne's story. The warning signs are often visible, but they can be easy to miss or dismiss. Your insight could help someone else recognize these patterns before it's too late. Drop a comment below, sharing what you think are the most concerning red flags in relationships that people often overlook. Have you ever witnessed behavior that made you worried about someone's safety? What did you do? Your engagement with this video isn't just about watching. It's about creating a community where we can openly discuss these vital issues. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to join our growing community, dedicated to sharing stories that matter. If this story has impacted you, give it a thumbs up so more people can learn from Darionne's experience. Each like and share extends the reach of this important message, potentially helping someone who needs to hear it right now. In the weeks leading up to June 29, 2020, Maurice Smith's behavior shifted dramatically. The changes weren't subtle anymore. They were sharp turns toward increasingly aggressive and unpredictable conduct. His accusations against Darionne intensified, and his control over her daily activities became more pronounced. Those who interacted with Smith during this period noticed his growing agitation and paranoia. His actions became more erratic, marked by sudden mood swings and heightened aggression. This behavioral shift wasn't just emotional. It manifested in physical abuse against Darionne, a grim escalation from previous patterns. The situation had reached a critical point where Smith's unpredictability posed a clear danger. Yet, like many expectant mothers in similar situations, Darionne remained hopeful that things would improve for the sake of their unborn children. Early June 2020 marked a dangerous intensification in Smith's substance abuse. His drug use had evolved beyond recreational consumption. It was now fueling increasingly volatile and paranoid behavior. The combination of drugs and his existing controlling tendencies created a powder keg situation. Those close to the situation observed how Smith's drug use affected his decision-making abilities, particularly regarding his relationship with Darionne. The substances seemed to amplify his paranoid tendencies and accusations of infidelity. His drug-induced state made him more prone to sudden outbursts and irrational behavior. Under the influence, Smith's grip on reality became increasingly tenuous. The drugs weren't just damaging his own life, They were creating an environment of unpredictability and danger for Darionne and their unborn twins. His substance abuse had become a critical factor in the escalating tension of their relationship. On June 28, 2020, a crucial sequence of events unfolded at the Will Rogers Auditorium. Unable to legally purchase a firearm due to his prior convictions, Smith orchestrated a plan involving a friend to acquire the weapon. What makes this incident particularly tragic is Darionne's unwitting role in her own fate. When payment issues arose, she contributed $250 to facilitate the purchase. The transaction itself revealed the calculated nature of Smith's actions. He knew he couldn't legally own a firearm, so he manipulated others to achieve his goal. The fact that he brought Darionne to the purchase location suggests a level of planning that would later become significant in the legal proceedings. The weapon in question was a .40 caliber pistol, the same one that would be used against Darionne the very next day. This firearm purchase wasn't just a transaction. It was the acquisition of the murder weapon, bought with money from the victim herself. The cruel irony of Darionne unknowingly contributing to the purchase of the weapon that would end her life and that of her unborn twins adds another layer of tragedy to these events. In Texas alone, the intersection of domestic violence, substance abuse, and firearms creates a lethal combination. According to the Texas Council on Family Violence, 204 women were killed by intimate partners in Texas in 2020. Of these cases, 67% involved firearms. Substance abuse plays a significant role in domestic violence incidents. National statistics show that drugs or alcohol are involved in 40 to 60% of domestic violence cases. When substances are involved, the risk of lethal violence increases by 11 times. Particularly concerning is the link between pregnancy and domestic violence. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists reports that homicide is a leading cause of death during pregnancy, with 20% of pregnancy-associated deaths resulting from homicide. Studies indicate that women facing abuse during pregnancy are 3 times more likely to become victims of homicide than those who aren't pregnant. In cases involving firearms, the presence of a gun in domestic violence situations increases the risk of homicide by 500%. This statistic becomes even more significant in cases where the perpetrator has a history of substance abuse. The morning of June 29, 2020, began ordinarily enough. Darionne and Maurice Smith were seen having breakfast together at a Waffle House in Fort Worth. Security footage would later show them leaving the restaurant with no indication of the horror that would unfold just hours later. After breakfast, they noticed their tire needed air. They stopped at a gas station before heading to an auto shop that offered discounted services. What should have been a simple tire repair turned into a deadly confrontation. At the auto shop, Smith became agitated over the cost of the repair, leading to an argument with Darionne. In those final moments, Smith retrieved the newly purchased .40 caliber pistol from the car. There, in broad daylight at an auto shop, he shot Darionne at point-blank range, killing her and their unborn twins instantly. After shooting Darionne, Maurice Smith's actions revealed his desperate attempts to escape justice. He drove to Mansfield, Texas, where he committed an armed robbery with forcing a woman from her vehicle at gunpoint. In his haste, he abandoned his own car, with Darionne's body still in the passenger seat at the scene of the carjacking. When investigators discovered the abandoned vehicle, they found more than just evidence of a murder. Between Darionne's body and the car's console lay her wallet, containing that poignant sonogram picture of the twins she would never get to meet. This detail would later become one of the most haunting aspects of the case for everyone involved. Law enforcement tracked Smith to his residence, where they found him attempting to destroy evidence. He was cleaning the stolen vehicle, trying to erase traces of his crimes. But the evidence against him was overwhelming. Officers recovered blood-stained clothing and the murder weapon, the same .40 caliber pistol that had been illegally purchased just the day before. Ballistic evidence confirmed what investigators already suspected. The recovered firearm matched the weapon used in Darionne's murder. The gun that she had unknowingly helped purchase with her $250 contribution had become the instrument of her death. Every piece of evidence, from the blood-stained clothing to the ballistic matches, formed an unbreakable chain linking Smith to the murder of Darionne and their unborn twins. Justice for Darionne and her unborn twins came on February 5, 2024, in a Tarrant County courtroom. After presenting the overwhelming evidence, including Smith's escalating drug use, prior assault on Darionne, and the circumstances surrounding the firearm purchase, the jury reached their verdict. Maurice Smith was found guilty of capital murder in the deaths of Darionne Burley and their unborn twin boys. The sentence was definitive: life in prison without the possibility of parole. During the proceedings, the evidence painted a clear picture of premeditation, from the illegal firearm acquisition to the final tragic moments at the auto shop. In the courtroom, Darionne's family's statement resonated with profound grief. "There are no winners here." Their words captured the devastating reality that 3 lives were lost, and countless others were forever changed by Smith's actions. For the Burley family, every milestone is now marked by absence. Holidays, birthdays, and family gatherings carry the weight of 3 empty chairs. Darionne and the twin boys who would have brought new joy to their close-knit family. The twins' due date, October 17, 2020, passed without the celebration it should have held. Her siblings, Edric, Allison, Sydney, Chanlin, and Leland, lost not only their sister, but also the chance to be aunts and uncles to her sons. Her parents, Olga King Burley and Darryl Burley, were robbed of their daughter and grandsons, their future memories together stolen in a moment of senseless violence. The family now channels their grief into purpose. They keep Darionne's memory alive by sharing her story, hoping it might save others from similar tragedy. Her mother's words echo their collective pain. The loss of Darionne and her unborn children left a void that can never be filled. Their family gatherings, once complete with Darionne's presence, now serve as bittersweet reminders of the lives that should have been. According to Patricia Henderson, Director of Family Violence Prevention, pregnancy often intensifies existing patterns of domestic violence. Across the globe, 1 in 3 women will experience intimate partner violence, but this risk doubles during pregnancy. Worldwide statistics paint a sobering picture. In the United States, homicide is the leading cause of death among pregnant women, with 20% of maternal deaths attributed to murder. Studies from the UK show that 30% of domestic violence cases start during pregnancy. Australian research indicates that women experiencing abuse during pregnancy are 3 times more likely to become victims of severe violence. In Canada, 40% of women who experience domestic violence report that it began during their first pregnancy. The most dangerous time, Henderson explains, is when a woman attempts to leave an abusive relationship. The risk of homicide increases by 75% during this period. What we saw in Darionne's case, the escalation of control, substance abuse, and access to firearms, represents critical warning signs that demand immediate intervention. Recent global studies reveal that for every high-profile case like Darionne's, there are countless others that go unreported. The World Health Organization estimates that 38% of all murders of women are committed by intimate partners, a percentage that rises significantly when pregnancy is involved. Darionne's story doesn't end here. It continues through the impact it can have on others' lives. Your engagement with this video can help create real change. Each share could reach someone who needs to hear this story right now. If this video has moved you, please take action. Hit the like button and share it on your social media platforms. Someone in your network might be facing similar circumstances, and your share could be their lifeline to understanding they're not alone. Subscribe to True Crime Case Tapes for more stories that matter. By joining our community, you become part of a movement dedicated to raising awareness about domestic violence and preventing future tragedies. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7 at 1-800-799-7233. They have over 200 language interpreters ready to help. Remember, recognizing the warning signs early could save a life. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on Darionne's story. Your perspective might help others recognize similar patterns in their own lives or the lives of loved ones. Together, we can ensure Darionne's story serves as a catalyst for change, helping others find the strength and support they need before it's too late.